and poverty of El Salvador.
Caused by the conquest of Spanish.
Sometimes, the history of the time long ago changes modern life totally. Representing history, such as the colonization of a nation, unity with other countries. The type of the government determines the country's culture and politics that we live as a nation. Due to those factors, the problems that arise in modern society can also come from the history. El Salvador today, we can think that poverty was caused by the invasion or colonization of Spain in the 16th century. So, in this video, we're going to talk about how poverty in El Salvador was affected by the colonization of Spain, how the structure of land ownership is shaped, and economic equality.
The Spanish began their conquest in the early 16th century. The journey was led by one of Hernan Cortés' lieutenants, Pedro de Alvarado. In 1524, the Spanish won over people, who were the native people in El Salvador, by their weaponry and cavalry, who were soldiers who fought with horses. From then, El Salvador became part of the Spanish colony. During the colonial period, the encomienda system was established. The encomienda system allowed Spanish to extract forced labor to the native people. It granted large land to the Spanish and caused land inequality nowadays. In addition, as the Spanish had the power over El Salvador, haciendas were created. Haciendas were estates, mostly with plantations and mines. It was only given to a few Spanish, which created more gap between the land of Spanish and the land of El Salvadorian. After independence from Spain in 1821, the government implemented land reform aimed for the exact purpose of modernizing the economy. The land reform brought the privatization of ejidos and tierras comunes, in English, communal lands. Those were distributed against to the private owners. Moreover, the land distribution was only concentrated on wealthy elites and foreign investors who acquired large amounts of land. The unequal distribution of land resulted in the Salvadorian Civil War. The Civil War began in 1980 and ended in 1992 by the Chapultepec Peace Accords. The Civil War brought significant loss of life, displacement, and economic disruption. However, the peace accord was able to resolve some landlessness problems.
Even though independence, the El Salvador's daily life is still influenced by colonization. Nowadays, the poverty rate in El Salvador is 29.8%. Compared to other countries, we can see El Salvador has high poverty rate now. In colonization, Spain destroyed indigenous villages and deprived them of their land. They also developed cash crop farm in those lands and forced indigenous people to work. In this process, the stolen land was distributed to only the higher classes of people and made them concentrate their wealth on only them. This leads to the wealth of only a few rich people, while others live in extreme poverty. Until now, El Salvador suffered extreme poverty as well. A study explained that half of the population live in poor situation in the rural areas. 80% of people obtain water from the ground, and the other 20% get water from a river or some fountain. Most of their houses are made of zinc, plastic, or cardboard. The research revealed that the certain statistics were poor. Moreover, most children are illiterate.
To sum up everything that has been stated so far, the El Salvador governments are lending the land that is small and not being used nowadays to people who are working on farms or people who work for the exact purpose of things that are related to farming. Since there are many lands that are abandoned after the Civil War, many lands had insecure tenure and lack of access to land. And this had caused constrained investment in development of the agricultural sector. The Spanish conquest of El Salvador in the 1500s, led by Pedro de Alvarado under Hernan Cortés, defeated the native people and imposed the encomienda system, granting large land holdings to colonizers while forcing indigenous labor, creating extreme land inequality. Post-independence land reform in the 1821 mainly benefited wealthy elites, perpetuating the unequal distribution. This inequality drove the 1980 to 1992 Salvadoran Civil War, while the 1992 peace accord aimed to address landlessness, the colonial roots of land concentration among an elite minority persist today, with around 29.8% of Salvadorans, especially in rural areas, lacking access to basic service due to poverty stemming from this inequality.